Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to explore a highly specific snapshot of the internet.
A very particular corner of it.
Right. It's a single blog post, and its staggering 15-year archive, published exactly today, March 16th, 2026.
And it's by a self-described old software plumber named Aang.
Yes, exactly. So imagine you are walking through this dense, overgrown forest, right? And you just stumble upon a massive, meticulously organized warehouse right in the middle of the wilderness.
That is a wild visual.
It really is. You walk inside, and the archivist isn't guarding like ancient world-changing secrets. Instead, they are quietly, rigorously cataloging the absolute minutia of their everyday life.
Just the everyday stuff.
Every leaf they've looked at, every thought they've had about a line of code, every single day, without fail, for over a decade.
It's a striking image, honestly, because you expect the endless scrolling noise of modern social media when you go online.
Oh, totally.
But instead, you find this quiet, open-source warehouse for a human brain.
And it's not for fame, it's not for money, it's just for the pure sake of knowing.
Which is so rare these days.
So whether you are trying to master a new tech skill, or maybe start a vegetable garden in your backyard, or just organize your own brain to stop feeling so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information out there.
Which I think is all of us, right?
Yeah, you are about to see how the rigorous ethos of open-source software can be applied to literally every aspect of life. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We have to start with our source material for today, which comes from a site called kianmasang.org. And at first glance, today's post is just a brief update about buying a rather tricky species of fish.
Yeah, the post is titled Notes on Fishkeeping Part 209.
Part 209.
I know, right? That Part 209 tells you immediately that you've walked into the middle of a very long, very detailed movie.
Like walking into a theater halfway through the film.
Exactly. And the subject of today's entry is the Auratus Cichlid, also known as the Malawi golden cichlid.
Or, biologically speaking, Melanochromis auratus, if we're being precise.
Look at you with the scientific names. But yeah, Aang writes that he has an empty tank and he's always wanted to explore this specific species.
But there's a massive roadblock, right? Something that has kept him from starting for a long time.
A huge roadblock. He's put this idea on hold because identifying the gender of this fish is notoriously difficult.
Why is that such a big deal? I mean, a fish is a fish.
Well, this is a classic barrier to entry in the aquarium hobby. With many cichlids, the juveniles look virtually identical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't just look at them in the pet store tank and say, I'll take one male and one female. The visual differences, the sexual dimorphism, often don't appear until they actually mature.
So you're basically flying blind at the pet store.
Exactly. And if you are trying to breed them or even just maintain a peaceful tank, getting the gender ratio wrong can be a complete disaster.
Because they're aggressive.
Highly territorial. I mean, two males in the wrong setup will absolutely fight to the death.
Oh, wow. Okay, so for an analytical mind like Aang's, you lack a critical piece of data, the gender. You just freeze.
You experience total analysis paralysis. You don't buy the fish.
Right. Until today, that is.
Until today.
Aang writes that he finally breaks the paralysis. And his intervention is to use artificial intelligence.
Which is such a 2026 solution.
Right. He consulted an AI tool, ran the data or images he had, and concluded he has a, quote, better chance of identifying the correct gender this round.
So he went ahead and bought two fish to evaluate whether it's feasible to breed them.
Okay, wait, I'm stuck in this. Because in the very next sentence of his post, Aang admits that from what he's gathered, these AI identification methods aren't entirely foolproof.
Yeah, he's pretty upfront about that.
He literally says, the plan is to start by keeping them and gaining more knowledge through observation the coming weeks.
Right.
So my question is, why even bother with the AI? I mean, is it actually solving the biological problem for him? Or is it just acting like a digital coin toss to break his own analysis paralysis?
That's a really good question.
It feels to me like using a GPS that you absolutely know is slightly glitchy. It won't actually drive the car for you, and you might still get lost, but it gets you out of the driveway.
What's fascinating here is that you've just described the exact difference between tech hype and tech maturity.
How so?
Well, Aang isn't blindly trusting the algorithm. As a software plumber, he intimately knows the limitations of AI.
He knows how the sausage is made.
Exactly. He knows it hallucinates or misidentifies patterns. He's using the AI not as an infallible oracle, but as a probability enhancer.
A probability enhancer. I like that.
Think about the math of his situation. Without the AI, his confidence in picking a male and female was maybe 10%.
Which is way too low to risk the investment.
And the lives of the fish, honestly. But the AI might not be 100% accurate. Maybe it just bumps his confidence to 60%.
Ah, I see.
That glitchy GPS gave him just enough directional confidence to justify starting the experiment.
He acknowledges the limitation and plans to fill the algorithmic gap with traditional patient analog observation.
He didn't let the lack of perfect data stop him from acquiring good data. He just got the fish.
He ran the beta test. And the way he talks about this fish tank is so specific. He doesn't say, oh, I bought 2 cute fish to see what happens.
No, not at all.
He says he bought 2 to evaluate whether it's feasible to breed them. It is highly methodical, iterative language.
Because Aang views his biological hobbies through the exact same lens, he views a software engineering problem.
Which becomes so obvious when you look at the sidebar of his website. The list of active projects is just, it's mind-blowing.
It's expansive, to say the least.
We aren't just looking at Fishkeeping Part 209. He is concurrently running notes on gardening, which is up to Part 837.
837 posts on gardening alone.
Yeah. And he has notes on photography at Part 233, notes on dieting at Part 116.
And you really have to contrast those nature and lifestyle hobbies with his hard tech pursuits. He has deep, ongoing logs for programming languages, too.
Right. Right next to a post about propagating crown of thorns and worrying about leggy seedlings, you have notes on Haskell programming Part 83.
Haskell, which, if you're not a programmer, is this notoriously complex, highly mathematical coding language.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Not at all. And then he pivots to Go and Rust, which are heavy-duty systems languages, and then to Erlang and Elixir.
He's bouncing from betas and Bougainvillea to analyzing the packet structures of Wi-Fi 7 routers.
It's all the same to him.
It's like he's treating his garden and his fish tanks as staging environments for reality.
Staging environments. I love that.
He's applying software development cycles, testing inputs, debugging water parameters, logging patch notes to living, breathing ecosystems.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is where the philosophy of open source becomes so crucial to understanding how Aang operates.
Because he mentions in his About section that he spends his nights tinkering with Flawless.
Yes. Flaw, free Libra, and open source software.
For those who might not be deep into tech, what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, in the software world, open source means the underlying blueprint, the source code, is freely available to the public to use, read, modify, and distribute.
Anyone can look under the hood.
Exactly. The foundational idea is that transparent collaboration builds better, more resilient systems.
And Aang explicitly supports organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Free Software Foundation, and the Tor Project,
which are all organizations dedicated to a decentralized, user-controlled internet.
free from corporate walled gardens.
Right. So for Aang, open source isn't just a software license for a piece of code. It is an entire worldview.
He's open sourcing his own life.
He really is. He is meticulously open sourcing his own trial and error process.
I mean, if you are listening to this right now and thinking about your own half-finished DIY projects or that language app on your phone you haven't opened in weeks.
We all have one of those.
Right. Aang's approach is a massive reality check. When he struggles with soil pH in his garden, or a memory leak in Rust, or simulating the monsoon season for his fish,
he writes down the variables, tests a solution, and publishes the result.
he is contributing his personal data to the public commons, just in case someone else out there is trying to breed an Auratus Cichlid.
It's incredibly generous when you think about it.
It is. But treating your life as an open source project sounds noble in theory. The physical reality of actually doing it requires an absurd level of architectural discipline.
Oh, absolutely.
To make 15 years of personal data readable and useful, you need a bulletproof system. Let's look at the raw data trail here, because the volume of what he has built is the true aha moment of this deep dive.
The numbers definitely defy normal human internet behavior.
Let's walk through the math. We can see his archive data going all the way back to 2011. He started quietly, just 26 posts for the whole year.
Pretty manageable.
Right. 2012, 20 posts. Then in 2013, he jumps up to 146 posts. He fluctuates for a few years, building the muscle memory of writing.
A very standard adoption curve for a new habit, I'd say.
But look at recent years. Look at 2022. He published 730 posts. In 2023, 730 posts. In 2024, a leap year, 732 posts.
He didn't even skip leap day.
No. In 2025, 730 posts. That is literally 2 posts a day, every single day for 4 straight years.
That is just, it's wild.
No days off for holidays, no days off for being sick, no vacations from the documentation. And even now, in just the first half of March 2026, he has already published 48 posts.
How does a human being actually accomplish that without burning out? I mean, really.
Well, no idea.
I think the secret lies in removing the friction. Aang isn't logging into a heavy, slow content management system like WordPress, obsessing over formatting, finding the perfect header image, or doing SEO research.
Here's where it gets really interesting. He's not doing this to be an influencer.
Not at all.
He has a very clear disclaimer stating these are just his own opinions for informational purposes, and he accepts no liability. He's not selling a masterclass on productivity.
He is engaging in pure intrinsic tracking.
So his setup has to be super lightweight.
Right. It's likely just plain text, markdown files. A simple terminal window where he types a few paragraphs, hits save, and a static site generator instantly turns it into a web page.
It's about capturing the raw data as quickly as possible.
Yes.
And the categories of data he captures are so distinct. He has sections dedicated to MOOC notes, massive open online courses.
Which are those free university courses you can take online.
Exactly. If he takes a free course from MIT on algorithms, he publishes his lecture notes, he has research papers to read, and this week I learned.
This raises an important question, though. What actually happens to a human brain when it categorizes its life into distinct numbered components like Haskell Part 83 or Dieting Part 116?
Because at first glance, forcing yourself to write 2 updates a day sounds exhausting.
It sounds like a second full-time job.
It really does.
But I would argue it's actually the mechanism that saves his energy.
How so?
Think about how much mental energy you waste just trying to remember where you left off on a project.
Oh, constantly.
Did I feed that plant on 20 Wednesday? What was that coding function I figured out last month? Why did I decide not to buy that fish 3 years ago?
We're always trying to hold the entire architecture of a project in our short-term memory.
Yeah.
And it's completely overwhelming.
Exactly. By using this hyper-fragmented yet perfectly organized tracking system, Aang is effectively preventing information overload.
He's building an external hard drive for his brain.
Yes. Every time he finishes a thought, a project, or an observation, he packages it into a part, tags it with a keyword, publishes it to the web, and completely dumps it from his mental RAM.
It frees up his cognitive load so he can just keep tinkering with the next thing.
The documentation isn't a chore that gets in the way of the hobby. The documentation is the mechanism that allows him to have so many hobbies in the first place.
That is a profound shift in perspective.
The writing process forces a level of reflection that deepens the learning, and the archiving process clears the mind for the next challenge.
Especially in an era where the internet is entirely designed to passively feed you content. Right.
Oh, yeah, to keep you endlessly scrolling through an algorithmic feed.
But Aang is using the internet to actively offload his cognitive burden. He is treating the web as a tool for his own brain, rather than letting the web use his brain as a tool.
That is such a crucial distinction. He is the author of his internet experience, not just a consumer.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. We started with a guy buying 2 Cichlids on a Monday afternoon in March 2026.
Just a normal Monday.
But the journey of the Auratus Cichlid is really just a micro example of a much larger macro life philosophy.
Aang's blog teaches us that true mastery of any subject isn't about natural genius or having all the answers before you start.
It's about documented repetition.
It's about the willingness to admit what you don't know, like needing a slightly glitchy AI to figure out if your fish is a boy or a girl, and having the patience to sit back, watch the tank, and write down what happens next.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It means you don't need a foolproof, perfect plan to start learning a complex subject.
You don't have to know everything before you begin.
Like Aang and his Cichlids, you just need to gather the best available data, run the experiment, and be willing to meticulously observe the results.
Give yourself permission to treat your life like a series of open-source beta tests.
I love that.
Your trial and error, your failure with a leggy seedling or a broken piece of code might just be the exact data someone else needs to solve their own problem 10 years from now.
That's the real beauty of the open source mindset. It's an incredible way to navigate the world.
Truly.
Which brings me back to that warehouse in the forest we talked about at the beginning. Yeah. Aang has built his. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought.
Let's hear it.
If someone were to audit the tags of your daily life over the last 15 years, what story would they tell? What are the recurring themes you are unknowingly tracking in your own mind? And more importantly, what is stopping you from publishing part 1 of your new obsession today?